Hey guys, welcome back to the Express Shopper here. Today we're deep diving into a camera comparison that you've all been waiting for, the brand new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra versus its predecessor, the S23 Ultra. We've got some side-by-sides here and we're going to break down the differences. Now, at first glance you think these images look pretty similar, and honestly in good lighting conditions both phones perform exceptionally well, but let's take a closer look. See this texture on the glass bars? Notice how the S25 Ultra seems to capture a bit more detail, especially in the highlights. The light reflects a bit more naturally, giving the image a slightly more realistic feel. The color size is also something to note. The S25 Ultra appears to have a slightly warmer tone, while the S23 Ultra leans a bit more towards neutral. This could be subjective and it really comes down to personal preference, but for me here I prefer the S25 Ultra. Now look at the background elements. The S25 Ultra seems to handle dynamic range a bit better. Notice how the details in the shadows are preserved, while the highlights aren't blown out. Now, these are subtle differences, and in most everyday scenarios, both phones will deliver fantastic results. But for those who are serious about mobile photography, the S25 Ultra's improvements in detail, dynamic range, and color science do make a noticeable difference. Now let's take a look at this shot. Right away, you'll probably notice the difference in the overall tone of the images. Look at the wooden tabletop. The S25 Ultra renders it with a warmer, almost golden hue. The S23 Ultra, on the other hand, leans towards a cooler, more neutral tone. This difference in color temperature is a key factor in how we perceive the entire image. Now let's examine the plant. Notice how the greens in the S25 Ultra are a bit richer and warmer, while the S23 Ultra's greens are slightly cooler, perhaps a bit more realistic. Pay close attention to the shadows on the plant. Can you see any difference in the amount of detail captured? The S23 Ultra, with its potentially higher contrast, might be revealing a bit more in those darker areas. The S23 Ultra's image also seems a touch brighter overall. This could be a result of the difference in color temperature or perhaps a slight difference in exposure settings. Speaking of the image overall, they were both taken in relatively low light settings. This close-up shot of the plant really allows us to see the differences in detail and texture captured by each phone. Notice how the S25 Ultra seems to capture a slightly sharper image with more defined edges. The texture of the leaf surface also appears more pronounced. Now look at these brown spots. The S25 Ultra seems to render them with more detail and nuance. You can see the subtle variations in color and texture more clearly. Overall, the S25 Ultra image appears to be sharper and clearer, especially when we look at the fine detail. Thank you for watching the first part of the camera comparison between the S25 Ultra and the S23 Ultra. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to be in for when part 2 releases.